And we're
living
single.
Oh, in a new millennial world, I'm glad I got my girl. That's right.
Hey guys, thank you for joining us today. We are Where the Light Is, and I'm Shar.
I'm Jay.
I'm Karis.
I'm Crystal.
And today we'll be discussing singleness. Either the best season of your life
Or the worst, or struggle.
Right. Will
Right.
it ever be over?
Yeah.
It could be a good thing. It could be a
Bad.
okay.
Yeah.
and when it's over, will it ever come back?
Hopefully not. And hopefully you don't want it to come back.
Right. Right. Enjoying the moments, the
Right.
secret places,
Right.
and the nice times in between.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's get this started.
Well, I know with me, being single has definitely been a roller coaster.
Really?
With me, I definitely struggle with probably being lonely just because my friends or family be in relationships, and it's like, hey, when are you gonna get in a relationship?
Right.
When is this gonna happen for you? So I did struggle with like loneliness. I'm like, okay, why no one trying to talk to me? Like, why I'm not talking to somebody? Why am I not in a relationship? Everybody else is in a relationship, and I know I struggled with that for a while. But in that season, now the Lord's been showing me like, if I want to be prepared for someone, if I want to be in a relationship, I have to be right within myself. So on the outside, everything can look good, but internally, I have to be up to that part to be in a relationship. Because if I'm not who I'm supposed to be, I can't give anything to someone else. They can't get any value from me.
Right.
Like we can't balance each other. I think we just listened to some a preacher, and it was like two halves don't make a whole. Two wholes make a whole.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah.
if I'm not who I need to be, I don't need to be in a relationship with nobody. If I'm
Right,
struggling
right.
with stuff, insecurity, I need
Definitely.
the Lord needs to help me with that first before I can be in a relationship with someone.
Yeah.
Right.
So now, even because I've seen, I got words in the Lord that I was gonna meet this man at this point in time, and it didn't happen. But I know I gotta get a position. I know, it doesn't mean it's not gonna happen, but it's still I have to prepare myself and be who I need to be in my singleness
Yeah.
to prepare for that relationship.
I feel like something similar to that I went through was thinking like, okay, but I feel like I'm ready. Like, you ever see like people you know get married and you're like,
Right.
I know you see me, Lord. I know you see me.
Right.
You see that? Like,
Yeah.
what? But something I had to learn, and it took a long time for me to learn, like over a year, just learn like, but there's still a time and a season for everything.
Right.
So it's like, if it's not your
Ecclesiastes.
time, then it's not going, like, you may be prepared or you may think that you're prepared, but
Right.
you might not be prepared for what is for you. You know?
Right.
Like, I don't know. For me, that was like a really hard thing to learn. Like, my life may not be like those people I see getting married. Like,
Yeah.
my husband
Right.
might need something different out of me. So,
Right.
if I size myself up to them, yeah, I look like I'm ready too. Like, I'm just as ready as they are.
Right.
But when I size myself up to what the Lord has purposed for me, or what my calling is and what my husband's calling is, it's like, yeah, we got some, we got some
Right.
work
I'm
to do.
ready to be single.
Right. I'll wait.
You know what I learned though? I think a lot of times as single women or even single Christians, you automatically think because I'm single, I'm not prepared. Like somebody
Yeah,
who's
that's
married.
true.
And that's actually not true.
Right.
It's
Amen.
just like Crystal said, it's like, when is your season of preparedness? Like some of us have different levels of maturity and different things we have to do because the anointing or calling on your life causes for certain things. So you can't deal with same issues as
Yeah.
other people do. It's like, where's God calling me at? And sometimes being single is so great to identify, even in those moments where you're feeling like, I'm alone, I don't have anything. I know personally, in those times, I used to be like, you know, I want to figure out how many greater things God has for me to do in that singleness. Because it's like, geez, Lord, how many great things do you have set for me and my husband, or me and my boyfriend, or even who I'm dating, or what women or children or people I have to talk to in this time of singleness where I can testify and have a testimony to say, geez, this is what I went through and this is how I dealt with it. So it's a way to rejoice in it and be happy in it at the same time.
Yeah.
I think for me the biggest thing I had to learn was just being content, because I was getting so many prophecies about this husband. Like, okay, he's gonna be this great man, he's gonna be this and that. And I'm just looking around like, okay, Lord, but when he gonna get here?
Yeah.
You know, like, and it's like after hearing all that, I had to really recognize, like, okay, but when you go into this, it's not just about you no more. Because I'm not just dating just for a relationship. We're looking forward to marriage.
Yeah.
So when you're looking forward to marriage, it's not just, all about me no more. You know, I won't have this free time that I have now. You know, when I get married, I'm going to have to go ahead and answer to somebody. You know?
Right.
So I had to really learn that, like, okay, chill out. You know, he's coming. But I also had to learn not to be so selfish to want him so bad that I mess around and meet this man and not be the woman that I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
Because that's the worst thing to really get with somebody. And it's like, man, how we gonna help each other grow? How we gonna become these people when you know you're not even trying, you're not even where you should have been had you been content and waiting. And sometimes if you're not content and waiting, you mess around with and get the wrong person.
Right.
You know,
And
so
that's when it's really gonna have a problem.
I think one of the most profound things, and it's very simple, but I've ever heard about like getting married or becoming a wife that always stuck with me is that when you get married, the next day you wake up, you're still the exact same person. So I like to carry that with me, like everything that I want to be, like how diligent I am in studying, how selfless I am, how much of a servant I am, how submissive I am to like my leaders or the people who I'm supposed to be submissive to. How well am I walking that out now?
Right.
Because if you can't walk that out now, when I do get this husband from the Lord, and it could be my husband, but I could mess that up because I was never walking who I was supposed to.
Right.
You know, because the season is the season that it will come. And there's ways we could hold that up. And that's a whole nother story. But, I mean, if you're in the will of God, you're going to get it when you're supposed to. But if you're not prepared for that, you could ruin exactly what God has for you.
Right.
Like, you could forfeit every prophecy, every good word, every promise.
Yeah. Even with that, when you said to be content in your season, I think about Philippians 4:11 when it says, in every season I am to be content. Now, I feel like being single, that season is like a great season because that's when you discover so much of who you are.
Yes.
And what the Lord is purposing you to do. I think I heard someone say, I think it was our pastor who said, if people knew what their purpose was, they wouldn't even care about being in a relationship. They knew all the Lord, just by you alone, what you can do for the Lord. It's like, what? I don't know, man. Like, what? Because that's how full you're gonna be within yourself. You're gonna be so confident who you are in the Lord. You're gonna be so focused on what the Lord is calling you to do. You're not gonna be thinking about, oh, I need to get married, I need to do this. And I also think about when it was says about Ruth and Boaz, how basically Ruth was working. Like when Boaz was looking, she was doing her thing. She wasn't thinking about no man. She like, I got a purpose, I got a plan. He identified who she was. She wasn't thinking about him. She was thinking about her purpose.
I mean, she was thinking about him though.
She was.
Laid at his feet.
But she had a side.
She was still focused. She was thinking about it, but
she was doing her thing and doing her thing.
Right.
She was making sure she was doing everything she was supposed to do, but also made herself available.
Yeah. So make yourself available.
Yeah, like listen, if you want a husband, there's nothing wrong with that desire. I feel like the culture, like
Put
the
yourself in
Christian
position.
culture right now kind of tries to shame women for wanting to do that.
Right.
But that's often a part of a woman's calling.
Yeah.
Like that means a lot of us were created to be helpme's.
Right.
We know that. So it's just interesting how it's kind of shamed. Like, you just want a husband. I heard this one girl talking like, sis, secure the bag. Don't worry about a man. I was looking like, wait, girl, get this in proper order.
Right.
There's a way to be working and doing everything that the Lord has purposed you and to do while you're in your single years.
Right.
While still being like Ruth, and when it's a moment, and when it's the time, and when it's that person, going and laying at his feet.
Right.
And making yourself open and available and letting him know, like, I'm here. And I mean, listen, you want me?
Right.
Come on.
I'm here, but at the same time, I'm still doing
It shows
my
like
thing.
great value though in that. It shows like I can be humble, but I can also be strong. Like I can rock some heels, but I can put on an apron too.
Right.
Like I can do both. Like
It has to be balanced
exactly.
like that.
You have to find a balance in between. And I know personally for myself, I always wanted to do stuff like that. Be able to like rule the world, like literally on some Beyonce song type stuff, but also be a wife and a mother, and also be able to be a confident woman in who I'm called to be. And the beauty of that is, like, in your singleness, you get to learn those things.
Yeah.
But one thing I do want to say, and I want to ask you guys how you feel about that. I know sometimes I'm comfortable in singleness. Like, it's so much comfortable for me to be single, and sometimes when people come, it's like, like, you know, like, okay, now everything has to change. Like, this is something that I've been wanting or I've been asking for, but now it's like the dynamic has to switch, and which means I have to change too.
Yeah.
So you have to let go of that selfishness and things about that. So what do you guys think about that? Like,
Yeah.
the comfort of that.
Yeah, I know with me, because I'm real big on vulnerability.
Yeah.
And I know me personally, I struggles. And I still struggling with
Struggles.
struggles.
Not struggle, but struggles.
And I know with me,
Yeah.
it's kind of like, if he comes around, I know I'm going to have to, it's
Yeah.
going to open me up to stuff I know I
Yes.
never had to do before.
Right.
So with that, yeah. It's
Yeah.
gonna, I know
Yeah.
the Lord's going to have to send him. I feel like I'm going to have to go over that hump anyways, because I know I always
Right.
desired to be a wife. Ever since I was 5 years old, I was wanting to be married. Even before I came into Christ, I was like, I want a husband. Like,
Right.
it was always in me to be a wife.
Amen.
Yeah.
I think for me, lately, what I've been thinking on is, like, as far as vulnerability, I think about certain things in me that the Lord is already, like, working out, but being passive. Sometimes something can be wrong, and I just choose to, like, be like, you know, it ain't that big of a deal.
Yeah.
I don't really care, and I just
Yeah.
keep going. So it was one incident at work where it was like I should have spoke up, and I didn't, and I felt like I could hear my husband saying, why you not speaking up? You know, you need to start
That's
speaking
good.
up. And I, in my heart, I'm like, oh, Lord, I got to get ready for this. Because he's going to be the type of man that's not just going to fly.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to have to, come up out of that.
Yeah.
So when I think about that, I'm like, oh, Lord, I need to, get let me start doing this now. 'Cause
Right,
I'll start crying.
Right.
I don't know. For me, I mean, it's probably gonna be a struggle because I just do. I'm like my own. I do my own thing.
Yeah.
Like if I want to buy something, I like to
Right.
buy it and not think about it. If I want to go somewhere, I go. If I want
Yeah.
to hang out with my friends, I hang out. If I want to
Yeah.
be by myself, that's the thing. One time I asked my married friends, like, so where do you go to cry exactly?
Oh yeah.
Like, we cry in front of our husbands. I'm like, no, wait a minute. So, like, there's certain things like that. Like, if I want to go,
Yeah.
like, sometimes I'll just, like, stay in my room for, like, 5 hours. And if I want to do that, and spend time with the Lord and just, like, by myself. One thing that I've learned in being single, when I got over the humps of, like, really struggling with it and really, like, wanting a husband and not being content ever is I really learned how to be by myself and really enjoy
Goodness,
that.
yes.
So I think when I get a husband, I think that's probably going to be one of those things that I really struggle in because I really have found a lot of peace in me in the Lord. Like I could literally hang out just me and him. Like I love hanging out with my friends too,
Yeah.
and I definitely find balance in that. But I could be by myself all day and not think twice
Yeah.
about it. So I think having someone like there next to you, like wanting
Yeah.
something from you,
Yeah.
like are you gonna cook dinner? And you're like, what?
Right.
I wasn't gonna eat today.
Right.
I was gonna eat, but
Right. I know for myself, I'm a very busy person. Like, I like doing stuff. Like, I like making sure things are handled or
She
going
does.
to do. Like, I'm always on the move. Like, up early, down late, up early again. That's just how I operate. But to have to make space for people, like, I was dating this guy, and that was, like, a big problem sometimes. Like, oh, like, you got to make time for me, too. Or, oh, like, you already have a lot of things going on, but you also have to add in somebody else coming. So that means the shape of how my life is going has to be readjusted. And I was just in dating. And I was like, geez, man. Like, what is this going to be like in marriage? Like, when you think about that, like, that's why it's like, oh, you got to get everything done while you're single. It's getting moving. It's getting popular.
Let's travel the world.
Right, because it's like now I gotta tell, like, okay, when you're single, I don't have to tell anybody, oh, I'm about to go here, but now I have to keep you informed, like, hey, I'm about to go do this, and you might not like that I'm about to do this, or I have to find a schedule between my friends and also with you, and also my requirements and jobs and all that other stuff, but it's finding balance. That's like so big, and I like in singleness is learning balance.
Yeah.
Like that's a perfect time for that.
Yes.
I feel like one thing I've been really trying to do while being single is taking opportunities. Like, because there was a point when it was like, well, you know, I'm waiting. I'm just waiting around.
Yeah.
I'm living the waiting life because
Yeah.
I'm single. And like, but now I'm like, no, I'm living my life.
Amen.
And then when he comes, we'll be living together. And I already
Right.
have a full life. So he's joining the fullness of what I have going on.
Right.
Which it wasn't always like that for me. We also, just a little background, we have a lot of friends who are married. So
Yeah.
we are part of a pretty small church, but there's a lot of us.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
But we're very close. And a lot of the people around us got married, and they got married fast. So I don't know if any of you have been in situations like that, but that kind of plays on you. Like, dang, like, what am I not doing? When is it going to be my opportunity? When is it my turn? But you have to really take a look at, like, okay, but what does the Lord have for me? Like, stop looking out here and start looking this way. Because when you look this way, you're like, oh, okay, I'm not missing anything.
Right.
I'm not, the season hasn't passed me. My time is still yet coming, and it's not like it's coming and I'm impatiently waiting.
Right.
So, but when a lot is going on out here, you want to look at that, but you can't.
Yeah.
So if any of you have a lot of married friends, I mean, just look up. Don't look,
And I know
don't look
at a
that way.
season where I thought I wanted to be married, and now reflecting back on it, I was not ready to be married at all.
Same.
Like, literally, I was like, I was like, literally, if I was to be married now, I probably would have drove myself crazy, because I was not prepared. Like, just thinking about my mindset now in perspective now, before then, I would have blew my marriage up, because I would have been secure in who I am, what the Lord was calling me to do.
Right.
I would have been prepared. So enjoy being that, and not saying that marriage is going to ruin your life, because I feel like a lot of times people think, oh, you can't do anything, you get married. You can't. No, like you can still do all the. If you marry the right person, none of that's going to change.
Listen,
There's going to be another person added.
That's going to be. It literally is like
in the right time.
When it is in the Lord's will for you to do it, and you're doing it in the timing and the purpose of which He willed it, it's going to be the best thing ever.
Right.
Like, what? Like, that is what we essentially as a body of Christ, the church, are waiting for. Like, it's a symbolism of that. So, listen, single is awesome, and I'm so thankful for that. That we get to do that and we get to experience that. But being married is a whole different level of...
Right.
I can't even tell you what it's like, because I've never done it. But I'm sure if it's anything like a relationship with Christ, it's just going to be so edifying. And it's just going to constantly be building and amazing. And I can't wait for that.
But that's the beauty of it too, though. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're okay.
But even in singleness in Christ, you're still not alone.
Yeah.
Because you're with God. Our pastor told us one time, like, when you're single, this is your one-on-one relationship with Christ. Like, this is what you're building up. And when you get married, now it's that threefold with you, your husband, and Christ. But at the same time, it's like, at this time, we're on a one-on-one relationship. It's like, it's so beautiful to have that, because you don't even know all the facets of you and the Lord yet. So growing and learning that is so beautiful. And then think about sharing that with your best friend when you get married. So it's like, it just goes from greater to greater and higher if you think of it in that, like, sense. And it makes your heart, like, the joy in you, like oh, snap. Like, okay. So, yeah.
I'm
sorry.
Well, it was one thing I wanted to chime in, like, being content and really, like, being really firm in your relationship with the Lord. Because I remember in the beginning when I was getting all these prophecies, I was just like, oh, like, when He gonna come, and it was like, I was like, I did that out of feeling like I just needed Him so bad. Well, it's like, it's the Lord that you need, you know. And you never want to get into a relationship or get into nothing when you think of somebody else as your all in all, when the Lord should be your all, and in His all, and then coming together, and it should be both of y'all all. You know, all. You know. But and I just look back on when I did feel like that, it's like, I would have been messed up, you know, just thinking about. Now I'm just like chilling, like, listen, Lord, I need this worked on, this. Like the other day, I was changing clothes, and I was thinking, like, man, do you think I might have to change clothes around him? Of course. You know,
you may have to have a baby around him.
Oh, let's not even get started on
That's
another topic. Ooh, what if he like your hair a certain way and you gotta switch it up, man?
Girl.
Like your makeup. Oh Lord.
Those are certain topics that I'm like
very
sensitive.
Right?
That's why I know men coming around here talking about, I don't like makeup.
Right.
What are you talking about? Okay, this is my hobby. I don't talk about how I don't like NFL all the time.
Or 2K.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
I like NFL.
I mean, me too. Actually,
I'm more NBA.
I just said NFL.
But I don't like. Listen,
what if
I
he likes
sports?
I don't know. Something golf tournaments. Like I let you watch your golf tournaments. Anyway.
Right. So random.
Random, but the things that you think about is things that you need to look forward to.
Right.
It might come. You got to make some decisions.
But there's gonna be something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's like one of the negative parts. A
Right.
great part is he's gonna be able to see you how the Lord sees you. So like
Amen.
secret parts of you that
Yeah,
like he just gets to pull out.
Right.
And it's gonna be really
Ooh.
Speak life into you.
Yes.
You should mean to speak life.
Yeah. Or you know how you have a problem and then he come and speak on it
Yeah.
and you didn't know the answer to it and then they got the answer.
Listen, can you tell we are
Listen.
very excited to
Right.
get married? We can't wait for you guys to come, husbands.
Right.
We're waiting on you. But in the meantime,
In the right order.
Y'all be content.
Right.
We are content.
Right.
So
I mean, I think that's it.
Right.
Thank you so much. Drop your single stories down below if you're married or if you're patiently waiting like we are. Or not waiting, patiently
Learning.
just content.
learning.
Just
Just
growing.
content.
Right.
Yeah, just, you know, you're waiting on
Walking
that
in
one.
the joy of the Lord, you know.
But that's it.
Yeah, sounds
Bye.
good. Thanks for
Bye.